Juan Mendez Scott's Pool Party. Chapter 12. Ghost Underwater. The heat that night clung to me like a second skin, wrapping around me in a suffocating embrace. The drive home was a blur, the headlights cutting through the darkness, my mind swirling with guilt and alcohol. When I finally pulled into the driveway, the house loomed before me, a silent witness to the chaos I was dealing with. I stumbled inside, the door creaking softly in the stillness. The faint hum of the air conditioner was the only sound as I made my way through the house. My parents were asleep, their breathing steady and comforting. I paused outside their door, the weight of my actions pressing down on me like a physical force. I didn't want to wake them. They didn't need to see me like this, drunk and broken, a mess of guilt and regret. I turned away, heading for the backyard, my steps unsteady. The pool shimmered under the moonlight, the water a dark, inviting expanse. The chlorine was strong in the warm air, mixing with the faint smell of the gardenias my mom loved so much. I stripped down to my boxers and dove in, the water closing over me, cool and soothing. For a moment, the world was silent, and I floated in the stillness, trying to drown out the noise in my head. But then I saw her, Leona's ghost, glowing with beauty and shimmering, her eyes filled with sorrow and anger. "Ace," she whispered, her voice echoing in my mind. "Why did you do it?" "I didn't mean to," I said, my voice choked with tears. "I'm sorry, Leona. I'm so sorry." She reached for me, her touch cold and unforgiving. I tried to pull away, but her grip was strong, dragging me down into the depths of the pool. Panic set in as I struggled, the water filling my lungs, the world fading to black. Just as I thought it was over, a strong hand grabbed my arm, pulling me to the surface. I gasped for air, coughing and sputtering, my brother's face coming into focus. "Jesus, Ace, what the hell are you doing?" Jake shouted, filled with a mix of anger and fear. "I saw her," I said, trembling. "Leona. She was here." Jake's expression softened slightly, but he still looked worried. "You're drunk, Ace. You need to get out of the water, and stay out of it." He helped me to the edge, and I climbed out, my body shaking. We sat by the pool, the night air cool against my wet skin. The stars above seemed distant and cold, indifferent to the turmoil inside me. "You're a mess, man," Jake said, handing me a towel. "What's going on?" "I don't know," I admitted, barely above a whisper. "I can't get her out of my head. I feel like it's my fault she's gone." "What the fuck do you mean, your fault?" It's just so hard to talk about, big bro. It's just so hard, man." "It's not your fault," Jake said firmly. "You need to stop blaming yourself." "But it is," I insisted, my voice breaking. "Bro, I spiked her drink, Jake." "You what?" "I spiked her drink, just to get her a little drunk. I didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. And now she's dead. Because of me." Jake was silent for a moment, his face unreadable. "Ace, you can't be spiking girls' drinks, man. But wallowing in guilt isn't going to bring her back. You need to find a way to move forward." "How?" I asked, filled with desperation. "How do I do that?" Jake sighed, running a hand through his small afro. "I don't know, but drowning yourself in alcohol and guilt isn't the answer. You need to find a way to forgive yourself." "I don't know if I can," I said, trembling. "You have to try," Jake said, gentle but firm. "For your sake and for hers." We sat there in silence, the weight of his words sinking in. I knew he was right, but the path to forgiveness seemed impossible, a distant light at the end of a very dark tunnel. "What if I can't do it?" I asked, barely more than a whisper. "Then you keep trying," Jake said. "One step at a time. You're not alone, Ace. We're all here for you." "Have you talked to the police about this?" "No. Everybody just thinks she got drunk and fell in the pool." "Okay, bro, but if they find something in her system, they are coming for you to ask questions. Are you prepared for that?" I nodded, accepting that I could be in trouble for that. "Yeah, I know. I'm not going to ask you what you spiked that drink with, but You just be prepared if and when they come. All right? His words were a small comfort, a flicker of hope in the darkness. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. The night stretched on, the silence broken only by the faint sounds of the night, crickets chirping, the distant hum of traffic, the gentle lapping of the water. As we sat there, a chill ran down my spine, a sense of foreboding settling over me. The memory of Leona's ghost was still fresh in my mind, her sorrow and anger a haunting presence. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was far from over, that the worst was yet to come. Jake's voice broke through my thoughts. You're going to be okay, Ace. We'll get through this. I nodded, but the doubt lingered. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and darkness. And as the night wore on, I couldn't shake the feeling that my darkest days were still ahead. The attack inside me was far from over, and the road to redemption seemed impossibly long. But for now, I had to keep moving forward, one step at a time, clinging to the hope that one day, I might find a way to forgive myself.